This is Coach Christy bringing you our workout for Wednesday, April 29th, Hero WOD Heidi. Today we are doing a Hero WOD. Just 10 days ago, on Sunday, April 19th, 2020, a mass shooting took place in the Canadian province of Nova Scotia, where, according to REUTERS, a gunman killed 19 people, including himself. Among the people killed was Royal Canadian Mounted Police Constable Heidi Stevenson, a 48-year-old veteran of the force of 23 years while in the line of duty. So today, we are going to do a Hero WOD today in honor of those that we lost just 10 days ago. To go over it, our warm-up today, we're going to do 2 rounds, 30 seconds of work, followed by a 15-second break. We're going to do 30 seconds of jumping jacks, 30 seconds of a Spiderman stretch. I'm going to go backwards, 2 rounds. Feel free to stay on the same side for 30 seconds for that Spiderman stretch and switch to the other leg for the second round. Then we're going to do 30 seconds of lunges, 30 seconds of wrist twists while also stretching out our forearms, and then 30 seconds of air squats. We'll go through that list again, 30 seconds of work with a 15-second break between each movement. Then we're going to do 2 rounds, 10, 10, 10, 10 kettlebell or dumbbell swings, 10 sit-ups, and then 10 box jumps or 10 step-ups, going through that list twice. Our strength today has a 10-minute cap. In honor of the 23 years that Heidi worked in the force, we are going to accumulate 2 minutes and 30 seconds of each of the following movements. Notice that's a rough 10-minute cap to get through all of these movements. We're going to accumulate 2.5 minutes of a plank, 2.5 minutes of a wall sit, and 2.5 minutes of a handstand. If you are unable to go upside down, we're going to do 2.5 additional minutes of more planks. Whether you are done or not, at minute 10, stop where you are at, and as fast as possible, we are going to complete 23 burpees. So that is your encouragement to get through this as quickly as you can, because then you'll get a break before we hit minute 10. So even if you finish early, we do not start those 23 burpees until minute 10. Our workout today, again, in honor of her 23 years of service, it is a 23-minute AMRAP, as many rounds as possible in 23 minutes. We will do 23 air squats, 23 push-ups, 23 kettlebell or dumbbell swings, 23 jumping lunges, 23 sit-ups, and then 23 box jumps or step-ups. Before I start going over the movements, just a reminder, we have added kids classes to our schedule every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from 2 to 2:30. Parents, please make sure you have the workouts written down ahead of time so your children know what to expect, and also the list of equipment that is needed is in the Tribe app. They may need some soup cans for some push press. They might need some pillows for some pillow slams. So parents, please look ahead so that the children can be prepared for that class. For the warm-up, 2 rounds, 30 seconds of work followed by a 15-second break. We're going to start with 30 seconds of jumping jacks. After your 15-second break, the Spiderman stretch is a deep runner's lunge. I'm going to come down to the floor, making sure my knee is over my ankle, bringing my hips down to the floor. 2 options to intensify that stretch. We can put our hand on our shoe and push out with our elbow on our knee, or we can come down to our forearms as long as our knee still doesn't come over the ankle. So you'll hold that for 30 seconds, and then we'll take a 15-second break, followed by our lunges. Again, we want that knee over the ankle, not in front of the toe. 30 seconds of lunges. 15-second break, and then we'll go into our wrist twists as well as our forearm stretch. Let's do both of those during those 30 seconds. The final movement of our warm-up is air squats, feet underneath my shoulders. I'm going to push back to get my weight in my heels, fighting to get down below parallel, and making sure I get to full hip extension at the top. The second time you go through that list, make sure you do that deep runner's lunge, the Spiderman stretch on the other leg, holding that for a total of 30 seconds. The next part of our warm-up, we're going to do 10, 10, 10. We're going to start with 10 kettlebell or dumbbell swings. So I'm going to do a tiny dip, I'm gonna push on that kettlebell with my hips, getting my biceps up to my ears. Then I'm gonna come down to the floor for 10 sit-ups. Knees towards the ceiling, I have the assistance of my quads. Butterfly is a little bit more advanced. We wanna make sure we touch the floor behind us and in front of us. The last movement of that 10-10-10 is box jumps or step-ups. If you are doing step-ups, you wanna make sure you alternate your lead leg and hit full hip extension at the top. Just as if we were doing our box jump, we always wanna hit full hip extension at the top. We'll go through that list twice. 10 kettlebell swings, 10 sit-ups, 10 box jumps, and then repeat. Our strength today, rough 10-minute cap. If you do the math, 2.5 minutes of plank, 2.5 minutes of a wall sit, 2.5 minutes of a handstand. We're looking at 7.5 minutes of work if you take no break at all. So this is gonna be very challenging. For that 2.5 minute plank, feel free to do any plank you want. Various options. You could do a push-up plank. You could come down and do a forearm plank. You could go to the side and you could do a side plank. Lots of options for the plank. Your goal is just to accumulate 2.5 minutes. For that wall sit, you want to make sure that you have a 90-degree angle at the knees and 90-degree angle at the hips. So I want to make sure my shoulder blades are flush against the wall. So we need to accumulate 2.5 minutes of a wall sit. For that handstand, I'm gonna have Coach Jason come help me. I'm gonna go into a handstand. I'm simply going to kick up, and again, we need to accumulate 2.5 minutes of a handstand. Now you can break this up however you want. Maybe do a minute of a plank, a minute wall sit, minute handstand, minute plank, minute wall sit, minute handstand, 30, 30, 30. You can break it up however you want. However, keep in mind, as I mentioned, if we're unable to do handstands, we owe an additional 2.5 minutes of a plank. So keep that in mind. No matter where you are, at minute 10, we're gonna stop what we're doing and as quickly as possible, accumulate 23 burpees. Chest and thighs to the floor, and we clap when we get overhead. Yes, we can step down and step up, but still clap overhead. 23 burpees to represent her 23 years of service. That 23 is also represented in our workout today. It's a 23-minute AMRAP, as many rounds as possible in 23 minutes. We're gonna start with those air squats, 23 air squats, feet underneath my shoulders. Then we're gonna come down to the floor for 23 push-ups, elbows tracking back along the ribs. After the 23 push-ups, we have 23 kettlebell or dumbbell swings. The movement we have not had yet today is jumping lunges. Our warm-up was just regular lunges. Try to challenge yourself with a little bit of that plyometrics in the workout. It's gonna be 1, and then 2, and then 3, and then 4. So try to get the plyometrics in this. If you can't, that's okay. Then we're gonna come down to the floor for 23 sit-ups, and we'll do 23 box jumps at the end of the list, going over and over through that list for 23 minutes. So good luck, everybody. We hope to see your kids at 2 o'clock for Kids Club, and reach out if you need anything.